Hello my lovelies, welcome to my channel. I'm Polly and it's lovely to have you here. So today we're going to be talking about how to release trapped emotions in your body and how to process emotions. And this is really part of the work that I do as a Kundalini yoga teacher and energy worker, is very much learning how to work with the emotional body instead of becoming attached to emotions and creating a huge narrative, a huge story around every emotion that we feel. It's important to learn how to feel the emotion, but without actually becoming attached to the emotion so that it becomes like a reactory state. And the reason that this is part of the work that I do is because Kundalini yoga in general actually works with releasing emotions. It's one of the main things that we're doing. And the reason that we're doing that is because if we can't learn to become the observer of the emotions and to feel our emotions, it's much harder to move through life as our truest authentic self. And that is because we are continuously replaying these old emotional patterns, and then the mind catches onto them as well, and we start to become them. We become the anxiety, we become the depression, we become all these varying different energetic states. And so one of the aims of what we're doing in Kundalini yoga is returning back home to our truest authentic nature, which comes with feeling our truest authentic feelings. So that's why this is a subject that is quite close to my heart, because it's something that I work with on a regular basis. So let's get into it. I'm actually going to talk about this in 3 simple steps, because emotions can feel very overwhelming. So I want to try and condense this overwhelming feeling when emotions get stuck and we're replaying these old emotional patterns into 3 sort of simple steps. So if this sounds like your bag, like and subscribe to the channel, and yeah, it's lovely to have you here. So let's go. What are stuck emotions? What are trapped emotions? How do they get trapped in the body? What does it feel like? And how can we start to work with these sort of 3 ways in which we might process these emotions and become aware of them and not hold on to them so tightly? So first and foremost, emotions are energy. Yeah, emotions are energy, just like everything else. Just like thoughts, just like this physical body is a densely spiraling energy in the form of matter. This table is energy. Emotions are energy. Everything is energy at its core, all vibrating at different frequencies, if you like. Now, energy just wants to move. Yeah, it just wants to move. It cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. So when somebody says, how I got rid of my anxiety, you can't get rid of anxiety, because anxiety is an energy and energy can't be destroyed. Yeah, but we can learn that anxiety is not something to get rid of. It's something to feel and observe and not become attached to. Yeah, because we aren't anxiety. It's not my anxiety, your anxiety. It's just a sensation, an emotional sensation that the body just wants to feel. It's passing by like a cloud in the sky. But humans tend to want to keep everything, right? We want to keep everything. If we were the sky, we'd want to keep all the clouds, because that's just what we like as humans. We have a little bit of a trouble letting go of things. So when an emotion like anxiety comes in, we go, ooh, I'm going to keep this and I'm going to form an identity out of it. So let's just talk about emotions in that sense. So emotions are energy. Energy in motion. Emotion. And what they want to be is they just want to be this energy in motion. They want to move through, pass by and release. But because we have this tendency to hold on to everything and form this narrative out of it, they actually get stuck in the body, right? And where do these emotions get stuck? They get stuck. It sounds strange, an emotion getting stuck, but if you're to think about it like energy becomes stagnant, right? So let's think about it I like this little visual. Let's say there's a river or a brook or some flowing water, yeah, flowing along, and some sticks and stones gather different parts of this flow in the brook, and they create these little dams. They create these little dams where the water can't flow through freely. Yeah, imagine those little dams, those little sticks and stones being emotions or stuck energy, because energy is emotion. It wants to move, but we want to hold it as humans, so it becomes stuck, it becomes rigid. Think about that visual as the river. The river is flowing just like our energy is flowing through our body. And then these sticks and stones trap it. It becomes stagnant. The water becomes a little bit more murky, a little bit more stagnant. And then when those sticks and stones are released, the water gets on its merry way. So emotions get stuck in the body because energy gets stuck, right? Energy gets stuck when it's not moving freely. And these emotions can get stuck in the tissues. They get stuck in the subtle body, what we might call our energy body, our subtle physiology, the chakras, these main energy centers in the body. Emotions also get stuck in the fascia, this sort of sticky spider web of connectivity surrounding the tissues and the muscles, and also in the psyche, in these subconscious spaces as well. So when this energy that just wants to be in motion is not allowed to move because we've formed an attachment around it, we've formed a narrative, we've held onto it so tightly, then it becomes stuck in varying different areas of the body, right? So that's how it's getting stuck. And what happens when it gets stuck, when this energy gets stuck, these emotions get stuck, is you start to feel varying different sensations in the body that are of discomfort, right? Heaviness, tension, dis-ease, discomfort, sort of like chronically stiff. And also they play out in an emotional way as well. So we become very reactory. Our emotional body, which tends to reside in the sacral chakra and the solar plexus, these sort of two energetic centers in the lower part of the body, just sacral chakra just behind the reproductive organs below the belly button, and the solar plexus, which is in between the belly button and the diaphragm, our emotional center, the digestive center. When our emotions are not processed, they get stored and they become very, very reactory. So we continuously react from past emotions or past emotional states that are no longer really married up with our authentic state in the present moment. They're just this old way of holding on to emotional reactions, and we live our life in that very reactory way. So I'll give an example of this. Let's say something in the past made you feel angry. Yeah, something in the past made you feel angry. Something around a specific subject made you feel angry. And maybe at the time you didn't feel safe to process that emotion, you held it in. And then later on or throughout life, the nervous system, your energy, the mind, everything, the systems in the body create these familiar patterns of the way in which you have or have not processed that sense of anger. And so as you're moving through your day, in the present day, making your toast, getting a cup of tea, whatever, those emotions that weren't processed in the past come up again. Actually, it's old emotion from the past that hasn't been processed and released. So instead of actually responding to the situation from a more neutral space, we might respond from a very reactory space that's coming from an unprocessed state in the past. So there you have it. Emotions are energy in motion. They want to be felt and they want to be released and got on the merry way like a cloud. And when they are not felt, when we've found it too challenging to feel an emotion because it's uncomfortable, right? Emotions aren't always comfortable, and humans seek comfort. We seek comfort. We've been conditioned that bad emotions, well, no emotions are bad or good, but some emotions are bad and some emotions are good. These ones you can express and feel: joy, happiness, excitement. Yeah, these emotions you shouldn't express, you shouldn't feel: anger, sadness, jealousy, envy, blah, 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 resentment, shame, guilt. None of these emotions are good or bad. We've just been conditioned to believe that some emotions are bad and some emotions are good. So we hide some and we express others. Whereas all emotions are just energy in motion. And the thing that makes them challenging is the holding of them. That's what makes the body tense and tight. That's what makes the explosive anger. That's what makes this very emotional roller coaster happen in our day-to-day life, where we feel like we can't manage our emotions or we feel like an emotional wreck. Yeah, I've been there. I'm a Pisces, for crying out loud. I know what being an emotional wreck is like. But essentially, this is why we have these overwhelming emotions. It's not because of the emotion itself, it's because we've not learned how to feel it and release it, just how it would like to be, like a cloud moving past the sun. So that is what an emotion is, energy in motion. It gets stuck just like little sticks and stones in the river that wants to flow, in our river of energy, and it gets stored in different areas of the body, subtle body, our energy body, tissues, organs, creating this tenseness in the body, all of the subconscious spaces inside of the body, in the psyche, the fascia, etc. And when that gets stuck, it creates this rigidity. It also creates this inability for us to be able to process emotions, and we become reactory. So that's the sort of, in a nutshell, of what's happening when we don't allow ourselves to feel an emotion. So let's talk about the 3 ways in which we can start to feel our emotions and release these old trapped emotions from the body. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is energetic self-care. And that means getting the energy that's stuck or stagnant, the sticks and stones, moving again. So we need to think about emotions as energy. So if you're to think about energy, it can't be created, it can't be destroyed, it just wants to move. So what do you do? What do you do to that emotional energy that just wants to move? You move it. So movement is a very, very powerful way to actually get that circulation and that flow back into your emotional energy. It's going to start to release some of that debris, some of those sticks and stones. Yeah, and one of the best ways that you can do this is to put into your day, or into as many times as you feel you can in your week, breath, movement and sound. Very consciously working with breath, movement and sound in certain self-care practices. Why is that? Breath, movement and sound are the 3 main ways to move energy in the body. What are emotions? They're energy, just like thoughts. So if you start to incorporate breath, movement, sound practices into your life, that's going to start to shift that emotional energy so that we can start to become the feeler and the witness of those emotions, instead of emotions running the show from the past. My favourite ever way to work with this is Kundalini Yoga, because it's a breath, movement, sound practice. That's not the only way. I'm not being totally biased here. It's not the only way. There's many different ways in which you can work with breath, movement, sound. What do I mean by breath, movement, sound? Practices such as yoga, where we are moving the body in relationship to the breath. So it's this conscious, very conscious movement with breath. Tai Chi, Qigong, this mindful movement with breath. Now, the reason I like Kundalini Yoga so much is because it incorporates sound. And sound is something that is continuously moving through our body, sound current. And when our emotions get trapped, because we're not processing them, that sound current can't get through. And the sound current inside of the body, which is created by all of the vibrational frequencies that's happening in the body, like the body is vibrating, which creates sound, that vibration creates sound, that actually starts to balance out some of our systems, parts of the nervous system, our energy, etc. And when that sound can't get through because of the sticks and stones, because of this old emotional baggage, then it becomes a little bit more stuck. So actually creating sound in the body can have that beautiful opposing effect where it allows the sound current to come back through. So chanting mantra, listening to mantra, creating sound, humming, or this vibratory sound with the breath. So breath, movement, sound practices, if you can do them all in one, very, very, very powerful, because breath is the first anchor to shifting energy, brings you back into the present moment. The breath flow actually moves energy in the body. The movement on top of that allows for this actual release. And the sound on top of that is this counteractive way of bringing that vibration back into the body. 3 very, very powerful ways to release trapped emotion. So you could start to incorporate that into your day-to-day life to release this old baggage. Now, on top of that, there's 2 other things. What we tend to do as humans is we don't like to feel our emotions because they're uncomfortable, specifically particularly the ones that are a little bit more challenging, like anger, sadness, grief, guilt, shame, all these different varying emotions, jealousy, envy, resentment, and other emotions, like happiness and excitement and joy or whatever. Because we have numbed our ability to be able to feel our authentic emotions, we don't just numb the emotions that we've decided we don't want. We also numb the other emotions as well. So when we go through an uncomfortable experience in life, some trauma, negative experience, bouts of stress, what happens is our energy tends to go in one of two ways. We either increase energy in the system to be able to run from the situation, which brings us into a little bit of a fight or flight state, this sympathetic nervous system overload, or with decrease energy in the system, going into more of a withdrawn state, and that's more of a sort of like numbing of our emotions. So we're either escaping our emotions or we're numbing our emotions. Both ways are just the body trying to protect us. We're not doing anything wrong. We're not bad humans. It's just the body, our nervous system, our energy trying to protect us from this so-called threat or danger that we're going through. But as you can see over time, when we start to reinforce these patterns of running away from emotions or withdrawing from them, we're also teaching ourselves to not feel emotions in the present moment. In fact, the present moment can feel very, very unsafe to be in. And it's very important for us to be able to feel an emotion that we come back into the present moment. We give our body this time to be able to go, okay, what am I feeling? Okay, it's anxiety. It's not my anxiety. It's just anxiety. It's an energy, emotion, like a cloud passing through the sky. I don't need to attach myself to it, but I do need to learn how to feel it. So learning how to feel our emotions. So you might sit there, might close the eyes, and you might just breathe into the emotion and actually say to yourself, I am feeling anxiety, not I am anxious. I am feeling anxiety. Where can I feel it in my body? Okay, there's a whirring feeling of, an impending feeling of doom in my stomach. Actually breathing into that and feeling the sensations of the anxiety come in, or feeling the sensations of the sadness come in, because different emotions have different sensations, don't they? Different bodily sensations that we find uncomfortable. Therefore, we try to push them away. But it's that discomfort in the emotion that allows us to actually experience the sensation, and then it releases. And until we experience that sensation and we allow ourselves to feel what it is that's coming up, it won't release. It will just hold, and it will become the sticks and stones in the brook, right? So feeling the emotion is that second thing. So first, breath, movement, sound practices to start to get that old energy moving, popping it into your weekly routine is very powerful. Those practices will teach you how to come back to a deeper sense of presence and learn how to feel safe in the present moment. That teaching is going to allow you to be able to become present with an emotion instead of running or withdrawing from it, so you can actually feel the emotion when it comes up. When that emotion is felt, it's released. So it's not reactory. We're not forming an old emotional pattern that we carry throughout our life and then burst it out continuously in a reactory way. Instead, we allow it to release in the moment. So it doesn't get stuck. It's not trying to fight for our attention and hold like body armor inside of our different systems. So that's the second thing. Learning how to feel our own authentic emotion, right? Now, the third thing is when we're feeling our emotions, what happens is when we don't feel them properly is the emotion first starts as an emotion in the body, a sensation. If we don't feel that emotion, we don't allow ourselves to feel the discomfort of the emotion, it goes straight up into the mind, and then the mind forms a narrative around that emotion. I'll give an example. I'm feeling sad. Oh, it must be because of this that happened to me in the past. And oh no, it's all this, and I'm a sad person, and I'm going to be sad for the rest of my life until I've sorted. And so the mind starts to create an identity out of the sadness instead of just feeling the energy emotion of sadness, not attaching ourselves to it, not becoming sadness, not trying to find everything in the past that made us sad and what's going on in my life that means I have to be sad. The mind wants to form a huge identity because it needs status, does the ego. It wants to form a huge identity around sadness. sadness, anger, anxiety. I'm an angry person, I'm a sad person, I'm a this person. It wants the identity. That's all it wants to do. It needs everything to have some form of analysis. Whereas emotions don't need to be analysed, they need to be felt. This is where the human gets this inner conflict. The mind wants to analyse everything, emotions just want to be felt. So if we're not allowing ourselves to feel the emotion, it's going to go straight up into the mind, create analysis paralysis. It will hold in the body as an old emotional stagnation, and then we will reinforce these patterns throughout our life until we move them. Okay, so that's the third thing, is feeling emotion without analysing the emotion, not trying to find out why we have anxiety, just allowing ourselves to feel the anxiety. So there are 3 steps really to release trapped emotion from the body, to start to learn how to actually feel an emotion and let it go. It sounds simple, but it's not that simple, but it does become simple with the practice of learning how to bring our energy back into the present moment. So there are 3 things. Incorporate breath, movement, sound practices into your day-to-day life. The second thing is because that's started to circulate your energy, the second thing is to start to feel your emotions. So you've connected to presence. You've learned how to connect to presence more in day-to-day life, which means that when you become present with your emotions, because you have to be present to feel an emotion. Can't feel an emotion in the past, can't feel an emotion in the future. Emotions are in life and life exists now. So you've learned how to become safe in the present moment because you've been taught it through these lovely reconnection methods with breath, movement, sound. Then you can feel the emotion. And the third thing is to release the attachment to the emotion, not create a story around it, which is practice. It's practice. If it doesn't come easy to us and it's not natural, if we've withdrawn from our emotions, we struggle to feel them. Humans, we've been conditioned that way in many ways. It is going to be a challenge to start with, but it's also a practice like riding a bike. You start to learn how to feel and process emotions and not create a huge big drama around them. Okay, my friends, let me know how you found this video in the comments, and if this stuff's of interest to you, let me know and I can do more videos around it. Lots of love, have a beautiful day, and ciao for now.